Coming up on 5 Minute News. Voters go to the polls, many in the hope of preserving US democracy. Putin businessman admits to meddling in US elections. And Musk's Twitter struggles with surge in misinformation. It's Tuesday, November 8. I'm Anthony Davis. Across the US, candidates and big-name backers made final appeals to voters on Monday in the last hours of a fraught midterm election season, with Republicans excited about the prospect of winning back Congress from Democrats, even as President Joe Biden predicted his party would surprise the living devil out of a lot of people. Democrats contend Republican victories could profoundly and adversely reshape the country, eliminating abortion rights nationwide and unleashing broad threats to the very future of American democracy. Republicans counter that the public is tired of Biden policies amid high inflation and concerns about crime, despite not offering a plan to solve either. Biden was holding an evening rally in Maryland, where Democrats have one of their best opportunities to reclaim a Republican-held governor's seat. That final night choice followed Biden's strategy of sticking largely to his party's strongholds rather than stumping in more competitive territory, where control of Congress may ultimately be decided. Voters are fractured politically and culturally and are anxious about where their country is heading on inflation, abortion, immigration, crime, and much more. They also sense something more fundamental at stake at a time of rising mistrust of institutions and each other, the future of democracy. These midterm elections are also the first since the Supreme Court took away a woman's constitutional right to terminate a pregnancy, leaving the matter to states. Midterms are always important because a switch in control of the House or Senate can stunt the plans of a sitting president. Control of Congress could also affect various investigations into Donald Trump, including his role in the January 6 insurrection. Kremlin-connected entrepreneur Yevgeny Prigozhin admitted on Monday that he had interfered in US elections and would continue to do so, confirming for the first time the accusations that he has rejected for years. "Gentlemen, we have interfered, are interfering, and will interfere, carefully, precisely, surgically, and in our own way, as we know how to do," he boasted in remarks posted on social media. The statement from the press service of his catering company that earned him the nickname Putin's Chef came on the eve of the US midterm elections. It was the second major admission in recent months by the 61-year-old businessman who has ties to Russian President Vladimir Putin. Prigozhin has previously sought to keep his activities under the radar and now appears increasingly interested in gaining political clout, although his goal in doing so was not immediately clear. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said on Monday that Prigozhin's comments do not tell us anything new or surprising. It's well known and well documented in the public domain that entities associated with Yevgeny Prigozhin have sought to influence elections around the world, including the United States. The US has worked to expose and counter Russia's malign influence efforts, as we discover them, she said, noting that Yevgeny had been sanctioned by the United States, the UK, and the European Union. In 2018, Prigozhin and a dozen other Russian nationals and 3 Russian companies were charged in the US with operating a covert social media campaign aimed at fomenting discord and dividing American public opinion ahead of the 2016 presidential election won by Republican Donald Trump. They were indicted as part of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian election interference. Twitter is struggling to respond to political misinformation and other harmful posts on the social media platform after Elon Musk fired roughly half of its workforce just days before the US midterm elections, according to employees who survived the cuts and an outside voting rights group. The recent mass layoffs spared many of the people whose job it is to keep hate and misinformation off the social media platform. Musk cut just 15% of those frontline content moderation workers, compared to roughly 50% job cuts company-wide, an executive said last week. But in preparation for the layoffs, employees said the company also sharply reduced how many employees can look into a specific account's digital history and behavior, a practice necessary to investigate if it's been used maliciously and to take action to suspend it. The company said it froze access to those tools to reduce insider risk at a time of transition. The developments are causing concern as the US midterm elections culminate today. Though millions of Americans have already cast early and absentee ballots, millions more are expected to go to the polls to cast in-person votes. Election watchers fear the platform may not be equipped to handle hate speech, misinformation that could impact voter safety and security, and actors seeking to cast doubt on the legitimate winners of elections around the country. Some of Elon Musk's own tweets have been annotated with fact-check context in recent days. And on Monday, he used the platform to encourage users to vote Republican, confirming fears that his $44 billion purchase was a mostly political transaction designed to help swing the election. You can subscribe to 5-Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5-Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate, and review online at 5minute.news. 5-Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health, and climate, delivering independent, unbiased, and essential world news daily.